Good morning, guys. Am I audible to all of you?
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
My screen
Morning,
is
sir.
also my screen is visible to all of you, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In our last session, we have discussed the generics. How we can implement generic programming, how we can create a generic class, right, with generic parameter, right, and how we can use that generic parameter with a class member. Even though we have also discussed how to create generic methods, right? And the same concept we are going to implement using generic collection. So, right, so generic collection in the sense what? Now, the .NET framework, right, inside the .NET framework, there is a namespace called system.collection.generics. And inside this namespace, there are many generic classes are defined, right? Generic classes, when I'm saying generic classes means what? Now, the class is defined with the parameter t, right? And how we are going to use those classes, that is what we are going to discuss today and in our few upcoming sessions. Today we are going to discuss one of the important and most frequently used generic collection class, that is list of a t, right? So anybody who is working with any kind of a real time project, right, they might be in the sense they 100% use this collection class list of a t, because this is the important class and this class is most frequently used one, right? So today I'm going to show you how to use this class, what are the different types of operations you can perform on this class, how you can use this class with simple data types like primitive data types like integer, character, float, boolean, how you can use this class with a complex data types like a customer, like a product, like a student, like employees, right? How we can sort a simple data type, how we can sort a complex data type, why we cannot sort a complex data type directly, right? But how we are going to overcome those problems, everything we are going to discuss today's session. And whatever operations and whatever we are going to discuss, once you understand that this collection framework with right, all the operation with one uh, generic class, then rest of all are going to be the same, right? Same in the sense mostly same type of methods you will find, the use of those method are also going to be same, right? So basically we are going to focus on one collection class, and then you will see that the same operations what we are going to discuss using list collection class are also available, and you can also implement the same operations on other collection classes. But behind the scene, the use of each collection class is going to be different, right? Different in the sense list. See, in our collection, right, on non-generic collection, we have used array list, right? The same array list, what you are doing in non-generic collection, the same functionality you can implement using this list class, but with the added advantages. What are the added advantages? Now, it is a strongly typed. Array list is not strongly typed. Why? Because that operate on object data type, but list of t means it is going to be strongly typed. In array list, boxing and unboxing is there, but in list of T, boxing and unboxing is not there because we are storing the data directly what is we require, right? If we are storing some, suppose you want to create a number collection using array list, you can store only integer number, even though it is also possible to store some string values, right? And because of which at runtime you may get some kind of a runtime exception. But in a list of T, you can store, suppose you are creating list of t, instead of t you are specifying int, right? If you specify int means this list collection is going to store only integer type values, and if you try to store some string value, then the compiler is only going to give you the compilation error. Forget about the runtime and the execution time, compiler is only going to throw the error. And because of this, there is guarantee that you will not get any runtime exception when you run your application due to type mistakes, right? So this, what is the disadvantages, what is the advantages, all these things we have discussed in our previous session. So today let's start the discussion with this generic list of t collection classes, right? So guys, whenever we are going to discuss a generic collection, then always remember this t is should be there, If you are using some dictionary kind of a collection, then there should be T key, comma, colon, T value, right? It is not mandatory, or it is not necessary that your collection class having only a single type parameter. It is also possible that some of the collection classes having two type parameter, right? That is also we are going to discuss when we discuss a dictionary and other collections, right? First of all, this list of T collection class belongs to collection System.Collections.Generic namespace. So this list of T collection class belongs to System.Collections.Generic namespace. This generic list of T collection class represent a strongly list of objects which can be accessed by using integer index, right? Whatever element you are see this list of T, it is a strongly typed collection, right? It is a strongly typed collection. Strongly typed collection means what? That it can store the element of one type, right? For whatever type you define the collection, that type of elements you can only store. For example, if you defined this list of T as integer, list of integer, then you can only store integer type value. Why? Because it is strongly typed. Strongly typed means the type is bounded, right? Whatever type you define, that type of element you can only store, right? And another thing is that you can access the element using integer index, right? And which is always in .NET framework is going to start from 0, right? So the way you create an array, right? The way you access the element of an array, or the way you create an array list, the way you access the element of an array list, the way you create a list, the way you access the element of a array, element of a list is going to be same. What is the difference? The difference is that in the case of array, you have to specify the size, right? Array is size is fixed. Once you specify the array size, you cannot store more element into that array. And array is strongly typed means if you are creating an array, then you can store only integer type of values. But the length is fixed. In the case of array list, right? And in the case array, you can access the array elements by using the index position. First element you can access by using the index position 0. Second element you can access by using the index position 1. And the last element you can access by using the index position, the number of elements minus 1. Right? Coming to array list, right? Array list is not a strongly typed collection. What it means? It means you can store any type of elements, but the other thing, the size can be grow automatically, right? As long as you are adding the elements, the size is going to be increased automatically, and you can access the array list element by using the index position, by using the for each loop, by using the for loop, right? But that is not a strongly typed, so you can store any type of elements. And coming to this list, this is a strongly typed collection, like array. Array is a strongly typed, and this list of T is also going to be strongly typed. But the difference is that in the case of an array, the size is fixed, but in the case of a list, the size is not fixed. So basically, guys, you have to remember three things, right? So what are the things? First one is array. Array. So array is strongly typed, and its size is fixed. In by using index, you can access the element. Index is going to start from 0. Coming to array list, right? Coming to array list, not strongly typed. It is not strongly typed, right? Size grows automatically. Here you can also access the elements by using the index position 0. Other options are also there. What are the other options? By using for loop, by using for each loop also you can access, right? The same we have also seen that not only you can access the element by using for loop and for loop or each loop, you can also access by using the index position. Coming to this list, right? So it is strongly typed, right? Coming to this list, it is strongly typed. Size grows automatically, and you can access the element, right, by using index position as well as by using for loop and for each loop, right? So what is the problem with array list? Array list problem is it is not strongly typed. Okay, na? Sorry. The advantages of array is it is strongly typed, but the problem is its size is fixed. So what is the issue? Issue is size fixed. What is the problem of array list is it is not strongly typed. Are we overcoming these two problems using this list collection? Guys, are we overcoming those two
Yes,
problems
sir.
which are facing in array and array list using a list of a T?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
What it means this size problem is for so the problem of array list is it's fixed type. That problem was we fixed here. The problem with the array list is it is not strongly typed. That problem also we fixed here, right? So basically, what are the problem we face with the array and array list? Those problems we are overcoming in our list. So it is a strongly typed, its size can grow automatically. We can access the element by using the index position. Along with we can also access by using for loop and a for each loop. This is the point that you need to remember. Let me put this in our document, right? So so you can understand it also provide lots of methods that can be used for sorting, manipulating the list of items. We are going to discuss what are the methods provided by this list collection class and what are the operations we can perform, how to sort, right? All these things we are going to discuss as part of this session. We create a collection of any data type by using the list of T collection class. For example, if you want to create a list of a string, a list of integer, list of doubles, it is also possible to create a list of user-defined complex types such as a list of a customer, a list of a products, right? List of a customers, list of products, list of a student, list of employees, right? Anything, right? The most important point that you need to keep in mind is the size of the collection grows automatically when we add items to the collection. See, using this list class, not only you can create a collection of integer, string, float, primitive data type, but also you can create collection of user-defined data types. User-defined data type in the sense the type which we created, like customer, like product, like employee, like student. You can also create a list of a customer. You can create list of a product, list of employees, list of a student, etc. And the point that you need to remember is the size of the collection grows automatically when we add items to the collection. Right? Clear? What is this generic list collection class? If someone asks you what is list collection, then you have to explain like this. Now we are going to see how to use list collection class, right? First of all, if you go to the definition, right? If you go to the definition, first of all, this class belongs to System.Collection.Namespace, right? Generic namespace, right? If you go to list class, then you will find there are three different constructs. One constructor does not take any parameter. First of all, it's a non-static class. Non-static class means if you want to access the elements, right? If you want to access the members of this class, then you need to create an instance of this class. Here you can see list of a T. This list of a T means here type parameter, right? That type parameter, you can see most of the function expecting, right? Suppose you want to implement binary search, the type parameter is there. You want to add an element, which type of element you are going to add, that indicates this T, right? Find all, you can see it is expecting one predicate, the type parameter is T, right? You want to remove one item, the type parameter is T, right? You want to find the index of a particular element, right? The type parameter is T. That means what? That means whatever operation you are going to perform on this member, that member expecting some type parameter, then that type parameter you are specifying here, right? Whatever type you specify, that type of value you want to pass. Suppose I'm creating a list of integer. Integer means this add method expecting one parameter. If you specify int, means this add method expecting one value or one argument of integer type, right? Suppose you want to find the element of a particular index position of an element, right? That element, it is you need to pass. And what is the type of that element? T. What is T? T you are defining as a type parameter, right? So this is the T that you have to define while creating an instance, and that T is nothing but going to be the type for all the members that are available inside this class, right? So here you can see one of the constructor does not take any parameter. One of the constructor taking integer capacity as a parameter, and one of the constructor taking an enumerable of T collection, right? That means if you want to create a brand new constructor, right, brand new instance of this class with the default initial capacity, then you have to use this one. And the default capacity, most of the cases you will find as 4, right? And if you want to provide the default capacity by your own, right? You want to specify the capacity, right? Suppose I want to create the collection with capacity 5 with 10, right? That you need to provide here. But generally, we are not providing. And if you are creating a collection by taking the object, right? By you already have one collection, by taking that collection, you want to create a new collection, then you have to use this collection. But most of the time we are going to use this one because we do not have any element. We want to create a brand new collection. Later I will show you, if you want to use those collection and want to create a new collection, then that is also possible. So these are the 3 different ways that you can use to create an instance of the list collection class, right? So first of all, you need to bring the namespace. How to bring the namespace? This is the syntax, right? How to create an instance of this class? This is the syntax. List of a type, and you have to use uh, this syntax. And here type means here you can consider T, and you have to specify the T. This type parameter here or T parameter here can be any primitive data type like string, integer, character, boolean, or user defined data types like a product, student, employee, right? Anything. So once you define the collection, then how to add elements, right? To add elements, you have 2 methods. One is add, another is add range. Suppose you want to add a single element, right? You can use the add element. And what is T here? T is nothing but a type that you define using your class, right? Suppose while creating the instance, I defined this type as string. Then while adding the element, I need to pass a string value. Suppose I defined this T as employee, right? Then while adding the element, I need to pass an employee object, right? So that means if you want to add a single element to this collection, then you need to use this add method. But if you have a collection, right, of 5 elements, and you want to add those 5 elements to this collection, then you can use add range. But these 2 methods, what they exactly doing? They are adding the elements at the end of the collection. For example, suppose you created a collection with 3 elements, right? Then the index position is going to be 0, 1, and 2. And when you add this element is going to be add at the end of the collection. That is, the index position is going to be 4. And if you add this element right then, then this range of element is going to be added at the end of the collection. That means what? The index position fourth onwards, the elements are going to be added. So these are the two methods that you can use to add elements, right? Let us see some of the syntax, right? Suppose you are creating a collection of string to store the countries. So you can create a list of string. You can say list of string, and here I specify the type parameter as t. That means what? That means this list collection class now going to hold only string values. You can say I'm passing integer and I'm passing Sri Lanka. So this is nothing but the use of add method. Now let's see, I'm having this collection, right? Let me show you the use of add range method, right? Let me show you the use of add range method. Suppose you are having this countries collection, right? But before that, as we created the collection using string, right? You cannot add integer values, not accepted, right? Not accepted. You cannot store boolean value, not accepted. Why? Because this countries collection what we are having, it is boundly, or it is tightly coupled with string data type. String data type means only string values are accepted. Other than string, not accepted. Let assume that you are having this country collection and you created a new country collection. Now, what is my requirement? I want to add this country collection inside this countries collection. Then what is the solution? Now I have to use this add range method. So countries, this is my original collection dot add range method, and to this method I have to pass this new countries collection. So once I pass this new countries collection, then what will happen? Now these two elements will be added after the element Sri Lanka, India, Sri Lanka, US, UK. It is the sequence is going to be like this, because add or add range method, they will add the elements at the end of the collection, where the collection end, after the elements are going to be added. It is also possible to create a collection using the collection initializer syntax. It is just like declaring and initializing a variable, right? The way we create an array, right? The way we create an array, in the same way we can also create a collection like this. See, here I'm creating a collection and I'm just initializing the elements, right? So these are the different ways to create and add elements to a collection. Now we are going to discuss the different options that you can use to access the elements, right? So first of all, you can see it is implementing the iList interface, right? As it is implementing the iList interface, and this is having this index position, right? Which is nothing but integer in index, right? So you can access the element by using the index position, and the index position is always going to be zero based. So you can access the first element by using the index position 0, second element by using 1, third element by using 2. So one of the option to access the list generic collection element is by using the index position. The second option that is available to access the element is by using a for each loop, right? See, in this case, what we just need to do is we just need to hand over the collection to the for each loop, and by using a string variable, we can access all the elements one by one. So whatever number of elements available inside this countries collection, one by one, all the elements will be stored inside this item variable, and then whatever operation or whatever you want, you can do with that value. Instead of string, you can also use var data type, right? Because at compilation time, based on the values, the data type is going to be decided. And in this case, we know this is a strongly typed collection, and the collection type is a string. So this var will be considered as a string, right? So you can use string, that is fine. You can use also var, that is also fine. Even though, as we know, we can access the element by using the index position, so we can also this is the reason why we can access the element by using the for loop, right? So it is possible to access the index element by using the index position. That means it is also possible to access the elements by using the index position, right? By using a for loop. So what we need to do, we need to create a loop variable, right? So in the case of a for loop, if you are accessing a collection, the loop variable is always going to be of integer type, because it is not pointing to the original element, it is pointing to the index position of the element, and index position is always of integer type. This is the reason why you need to create a integer variable. And what is the number of elements that count? If you want to get, you need to access the count variable. So this count is nothing but number of element, and this capacity is nothing but the capacity of the collection, right? And you need to increase the I counter variable by 1, and then by using the index position, right, I, you can access the element. And here I'm providing the condition as I less than, right? Suppose the count means, suppose the number of elements is 5, then this loop will run from 0 to 4. So these are the different ways that you can use to access the element of a generic list collection. Let me show you one example so that you can get some better idea, right? Right? So first I'm creating a collection of countries, right? And here what is the type parameter? Type parameter is T, right? T. And this T we have replaced as string, right? So we are specifying that this list collection, what we are creating, this countries collection is going to hold data of string type. Other than string, it should give you some compilation error. Then by using the add method, I'm adding the elements, right? First element is India. After India, US is going to be added. Why? Because using this add and add range method, whenever we add elements, those elements or element are going to be added at the end of the collection. So here first element means this is the end. Second new element add. So after India, this element is going to be add, right? This is the process how the elements are going to be added. So in this case, if I am going to store some integer values or some boolean kind of values, right, or other than string values, then I will get some compilation error. And you can see cannot convert from integer to string, right? So you cannot pass this integer, you cannot pass this string value in this example, because it is tightly coupled with string data type, right? This is a strongly typed collection. You cannot pass all different types of data, right? Whatever type you mention, that type of data you can only store inside this collection, right? This is the use of add method. I'm creating another generic list collection, and again this collection is of string type, and I'm again adding two new elements into this new countries collection, and then I'm using add range method to add this new countries inside my original countries collection by using the add range method. So these two new countries will be added after the USA. USA, then you will see Japan, then you will see UK, right? Then I'm accessing the element. So here you can see I'm accessing the generic list element by using the for each row. So here you can use var, that is fine. Even you can also use string, that is also fine. See why? Because this string, this countries represents list of a string, right? Here you can see this is a string. Even though if you use var, right, then if you put your mouse pointer over this item variable, then you will see that the item type is going to be string. That means compilation time, by checking the country's values, it will decide the data type of this item variable. So var will be replaced with a string. So you can see I'm using var, but it is saying me system.string, right? So by using the for each loop, you can access all the elements, even though you can access the element by using the index position, or you can use access the element by using the for loop. So here you can see I'm using the for each loop. I'm using this count variable, which will return me the number of elements present inside this countries collection. And then I'm just initializing the counter variable, right, loop variable from 0, and it will going through the number of elements minus 1. Then I'm just fetching the element storing inside a variable. You can see in this case it is going to return me list of string, and the list of string means one element it is going to store. So in this case you can use string or var, that is also going to be fine. Once you get the element, then whatever operation you want, you can perform here. I'm simply printing the data. And the last option is, you know how to access the element by using the index position. This is my country's collection. By using this square bracket, I need to specify the index position, and whatever element present in that index position, that element is going to be returned. So in this case, my collection having 4 elements: India, USA, Japan, UK. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Accordingly, all the 4 elements are going to be displayed in this collection, right? Let me run the application. See, India, US, Japan, and the UK. India, US, Japan, and the UK. That means the data is not going to be sorted automatically, right? The way you are adding the element, the sequence you are adding the element, in the same sequence, the data is going to be stored, right? So you can see using for each loop, using for loop by using index position. So we have seen here add method, add range method. We have seen the count properties, how to use the count properties, right? And we have seen how to access the element by using for each loop, and how to access the element. What happened? Right? How to access the element by using index position. Any question from this example? As of now, what we discussed?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, fine. Anyone having any more questions?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So next we are going to discuss, okay, so as I mentioned you, another way to add elements at the time of declaring the collection is by using collection initializer syntax, right? So you can create a list of string, and while creating the collection, you can also initialize the element by using this, right? And then you can access the element. So this is nothing but you're initializing a collection by using collection initializer, and you can access the element using this bar keyword, or you can access the element by using this string keyword. There is no issue, right? Because compilation time, the data type is going to be decided. You can access the element. This is how you can initialize a collection while declaring, right? So you can initialize the collection while declaring. You can once you declare the collection, then you can add element by using the add method. See, in this case also, right, later if you want to add element, you can also add element by using this add method. There is no issue, right? So you can add element like this, right? So you can also add element, and that is going to be add at the end of the collection. In this case, you can see this New Zealand is going to be the last element, right? This is the end of the collection. Now our main requirement, suppose we are having one collection having some elements, right? And I want to add a particular element at a particular index position, or I am having a collection of elements and I want to add that collection of elements at a specific index position. Then how we can do this? Now for this for this the list collection class provide us two methods. One is insert int index and p item parameter. So in this case, suppose you want to insert a element, right, at index position 1, then what you need to do? Integer index. So it is an integer parameter. First parameter you need to pass 1, and the second parameter you want to pass the element, and that element is going to be add, right, inserted at the index position 1, and the rest of the element which are there in the collection, they automatically shift to one position ahead, right? And similarly, if you are having a collection, right, this is nothing but your collection, and if you are having a collection and you want that collection to be added at the index position 3, then what you need to do? You have to pass the index, the first parameter, as 3 in using this insert range method, and the second parameter, it is nothing but your collection. And in this case, the element will be, all the elements will be added from this index position 3, right? Whatever you specified here. So if you want to insert a single element at a particular index position, you have to use insert method. And if you want to insert a collection of elements, right, at a from a particular index position, then you have to use insert range method, right? Now let us see one example so that you will get better idea, right? So you can say this is my country collection. This is the element of my country collection. I want to insert China, right? So this country collection having are two elements. Two element in the sense, what is the index position, guys?
0 and 1.
0, 0 and 1. If I want to insert this China element at index position 1, then what should be the sequence after adding these three elements? The first element is going to be,
India.
second element is going to be,
USA.
how US? Index position 1. This is index position 0. And in
Okay.
index position 1, this is going to be. And in index position 2, this third element will come. So this is the use of insert method. Na? This element will be inserted at index position 1. The first index position is India, sorry, the 0th index position is India, and then the first index position inside and in that index position, this element is going to be added, and this element will be shifted 1. Right now, the sequence will be like this. Understand?
Yes.
And if you want to get the index position of this particular element, then you can make use of this index of method, right? Index of this element. So this element index position, it is going to return, right? And if you go to this index of method, then you will see that it is returning me an integer value, taking the one element, and at what index position this element is present, that index position, it is going to return me. And you know, the indexes are always based on integer values, right? Integer number. And this is the reason why you can see the return type of this method is going to be integer. So in this case, it is going to be return one integer value indicating the index position of this element. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if you use the for each loop, then you should get this output: India, China, and the USA. Now creating another generic list, right? Inside this list, I'm having two elements, right? Inside this list, I'm having two elements, and I'm using this insert range, right? This is a collection, and I want to insert this collection from the index position 2. Now tell me, index position 2 means this is my 0 index position. This is my first index position. Then from index position 2, this new collection is going to be inserted. That means from
Japan and
index position 2, Japan will become, then UK will become, and the last element will become USA. Because from index position 2, this new collection is going to be inserted 0, 1. Then from 2, this new collection inserted, and the rest of the element that is available in my original collection. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now if you run the application, then you will get the output like this. See, first India, USA. Then what we are printing? We are printing the index position of China. Index of China element is 1 because we have inserted China at index position 1. Then accessing list after inserting China at index position 1. See, 0, 1, and 2. So China is inserted at index position 1, right? Then what we are doing? Then we are inserting Japan and UK at index position 2. See, 0, 1, Japan and UK inserted from 2 and 3, and the last element is going to be USA. So basically these two methods are going to insert one element or multiple element. One element you can use insert method. Range of elements or a collection, you have to insert this insert range method, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Already in our non-generic collection classes, we have discussed, right? What is how to find whether an element exists in the collection or not. So basically we are using one method called the contents method, and to that method we need to provide the element, and then this method will check whether that element is available in the collection or not. If it is available, then it is going to return true. If it is not available, then it is going to return false. So the same concept is also available in generic list collection, right? Generic list collection. See, in this case, this is my collection, and inside this collection, what I'm trying to do is I'm checking whether this India element is available inside this collection. If available, then this statement is going to return me true, right? If not available, it is going to return me false. And again, this country that contains New Zealand, right? NZ, if NZ is available inside this country's collection, then this method is going to return me true, else it is going to return me false. By looking at our collection, we can see India is available inside our collections, then this statement should return me true, and NZ is not available inside our collection, so this is going to return me false. Let me.
False.
Okay, you can see this is my original collection. India, USA, Japan, UK. Is India exist in the list? Yes, it is exist, right? In the index position 0. So it is going to return me true. Is New Zealand exist in this list? No. NZ is not exist in this collection. So it is going to return me false. The same way. So the same way we use this contents method in our non-generic collection classes. You can use the same method here. But here, if you try to pass other than string value, see what happens. So in this case, I'm passing 100. It is going to return me a compilation error. Why? Why? Because this contents method accept one parameter of type T. So in this case, inside this countries, what parameter we define? The type parameter as a string. And here we are passing integer. And if you go to the definition, then it is expecting the type parameter T, which is defined inside this collection, right? So in this case, you defined the collection by using the string, means you have to pass the string parameter only. If you are passing any other parameter, then it will give you compilation error. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
But this is not the case in the sense when we are working with non-generic collection, because non-generic collection can accept any type of values. Now we are going to discuss the remove method, right? How to remove element from the collection. There are many options, right? If you want to remove a particular element, the first occurrence of a particular element, suppose you are having one integer collection. In that integer collection, you are storing some integer number, and one number that is 10 stored 3 times, right? Then if you want to remove this item 10, right, from the collection, then if you are using this remove T item, then only 110 is going to remove from your collection, which is occurred fast, right? The rest two, it is not going to remove, right? And if you want to remove all the 10 elements from the collection, then you need to use this remove all predicate delegate, right? So you know this predicate, it's a delegate, right? And using that delegate, you need to specify the condition. That condition is going to remove all the tens from the collections, right? And remove all means remove at means from a particular index position. If you want to remove an element, you want to remove element from the index position 2 or from the index position 5, that index position you need to supply, or you need to provide it, or you need to pass to this remove at method, and this remove at method will remove that element from that index position, right? And remove range means if you want to remove multiple elements from a particular index position, right? You want to remove 2 elements from the index position 3, right? Then you have to provide it, you have to provide the first element, right? As index position 3, and the second value or second argument to this method as 2, right? So in this case, it will remove 2 elements from the index position 3. And the clear method we have already discussed in our non-generic classes, means it will clear all the generic collection, right? It will clear or it will remove all the elements from the collection, right? So let me show you one example so that you will get better idea. right? So this is my collection, right? India, USA, Japan, UK, Australia, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh,